Okay. Wait, Agnès.
Can we start with the left, please? All four to the left.
Agnès, par ici, en bas, au milieu. Agnès. À droite, à droite. Voilà. Par ici, ici. Encore tout seul, ça Agnès, s'il vous plaît, Agnès.
Varda ist der neue Film von
Varda,
Agnès
Varda's newest film, is a self-portrait. The grand lady of French film, a pioneer of the Nouvelle Vague, is set to receive this year's Berlinale Golden Camera for her impressive lifetime achievement. And in this film, she precisely takes a look at it. Sitting on a theater stage, looking at photographs, talking with companions, leading us through her work exactly as she had always done, eschewing boring chronologies, moving back and forth, changing methods, styles and points of view. The very reason why her work is so refreshing. And like her film, this also characterized her press conference.
Revenons un peu en arrière. Nous, cinéastes, avons vécu avec des pellicules argentiques 35 mm. On les a touchées au montage, on les a assemblées, on les a transportées dans des boîtes, et tout ça arrivait dans les cabines de projection des salles de cinéma. Le procédé de projection a complètement disparu au profit des fichiers numériques. Et on s'est retrouvé avec des centaines de boîtes et de bobines qui stagnaient sur les étagères, dans les caves, dans les cabines de projection et dans les stocks. On a utilisé les pellicules de mon film Le Bonheur pour fabriquer en 2018 ma cabane numéro 3 dans la galerie Obadia. Pour ceux qui connaissent le film, c'est une référence directe au générique. Jean-Claude Drouot, sa femme et ses enfants, personnages réels du film, arrivaient de très loin, très flous, avec au premier plan un champ de tournesol. J'en ai fait des boîtes lumineuses où l'on peut voir de près la pellicule même du film, avec les perforations pour le projecteur et la piste optique du son et de la musique.
Aber jetzt. Wir fangen jetzt mit der Pressekonferenz an, bitte. Setzen Sie
Press
sich.
conference, please take your seats.
Bitte setzen, hinsetzen. Vielen Dank. Sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, einen
Ladies and
recht schönen
gentlemen,
Nachmittag.
I wish you a very nice afternoon. On behalf of Berlinale, I warmly welcome you to the press conference of the film Varda par Agnès by Agnès Varda. The film was written and screened by Agnès Varda and with Didier Roger in the first part. And of course, I would also like to introduce you to our guests. To the right, we have Rosalie Varda, she's the producer. And next to me, Agnès Varda, director, screenwriter, editor, and a legend, I would say. Welcome.
Non. Non. Ça marche, ça?
Ça marche, ça marche.
This works?
I'm not a legend. I'm still alive. And excuse me if I don't recognize some of you that I know. I don't see well. So you are out of focus, but beautiful.
I know that you want to say something
Yes,
to
because-
us before
yes.
we start with the questions.
Yes. You know, everywhere in the world, the press has been nice to me. They helped me when I opened films. They wrote about my work. And it's nice to know that. I spoke with many of you, some of you that I don't recognize. And I'm sorry. And I made also a lot of talks everywhere, in universities, in film school, in all kinds of places, in festivals, even in small cine club. And I thought I should do now a film that would be a talk. It has been made in 2 different places. The first lecture was made in the city of Angers. You may know that well-known festival Premier Plan, directed by Claude-Éric Poirou. And during the festival, they gave me a big, beautiful theater with a lot of red velvet. The second night lecture was done in the garden of the Cartier Foundation for Contemporary Art in Paris. It is directed by Hervé Chandez, who appears in the film. I spoke with him. So, in these 2 places, it covers my work in the 20th century and then my work in the 21st century. I think I said so much, I spoke so much in this talk, I will no longer accept to do a talk. So this is it. And now, I would like to introduce some of our crew, because when it's a feature, we introduce the actors. But here, it's a documentary, and I had a beautiful team. First, I want to name Rosalie. She's my lovely daughter and my producer. She produced already Faces Places that I co-directed with Gérard, who is here in Berlin. And you may know the film. Ça s'appelait en français Visage Village.
That's what it's called
C'est
in
pas la
French,
traduction.
Visage Village.
Alors,
Wouldn't know how to translate that into English.
I have to name first Didier Rouget, who he has been helping me by co-directing the first part of the shooting. And then there is Cecilia Rose, somewhere, who is leading the production. And then... Pourquoi je ris? Elle est là. Oui, bravo. Then
That's
there
where she
is Julia Fabry.
Elle est là aussi.
Aussi.
There too?
She has 3 caps. She assists me when I shoot. She does the second camera. And when I do my visual artist work, she helps me, because from the idea to the installation, we need to find how to give shape and space to the work. So there is Nicolas Longinetti. Il est là?
Is he here?
With whom I did the editor. We worked weeks, not to say months, but our way of working was 4 hours a day. And then, oh, I should name many of them. Yeah.
Claire Duguay qui est là.
Non, attends, d'abord, je veux nommer
I'd like
Stanislas.
to mention Stanislav.
Alexandra. Alexandra.
Claire,
Non, il y a encore.
Sophie.
Sophie. And Claire Duguay, who was the DP of the second part.
Là.
So, Claire. So now, I'm glad that they could come with me. Alors, si j'ai dit mon équipe,
So I was talking about my
J'ai plus rien à
team,
dire.
and so I have nothing more to add.
yes, that's it. About the interviews, I've done many of them, maybe with some of you. But now that I'm over 90, I decided to choose what to do. I will no longer do person-to-person interviews. I will do only press conference. Now, I'm yours.
So she's yours. Are there already some questions?
Pardon.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Je viens du Québec. Je travaille pour un
Québec.
magazine de cinéma.
I work for a cinema
Le
magazine,
générique du début est
and
très long.
we had
Agnès.
the introduction here, Agnès,
Il est très long. On
very
sent
long with all the
hommage
names, and you can see that you are honoring all people who share your cinema life, also your children, everybody. And right at the end, you sort of just disappear in the fog. And I'm a bit afraid, will that be your last film? Because I don't want to react like a little girl or grandchild saying, no, I want more films or something.
Attends, j'ai pas entendu la fin.
I didn't understand, didn't hear the end.
Ah, maybe not. But I filmed him when he was 102. I was in Porto, and I filmed him. He made the clown. He played Charles Chaplin. He was in very good mood. I'm not sure I will reach that age. But so far, so good. Je vois pas.
Good morning. My name is Mahari Sagid. First of all, I want to thank you. My friend talked about it because this is the first time I can read the names, because there is a bad habit here that as soon as the film is finished, everybody stands up and we don't see who is who. So was very good, and I loved it because of this. I think you did it also for the people who helped you to do this film. My question is, I saw you. I'm an old guy, so I'm 66. So I saw you at the Berlinale, and today I saw some clips of this Berlinale thing. But the people at the Berlinale, I want you to, I don't know if you remember, the people were shocked when they came there, because it was something new for everybody.
Which one? Patatitopia?
Yeah. About the potato. I'm talking about the potatoes, yeah.
Heart-shaped potatoes.
Yeah, heart-shaped potato. And then you go on with the people. I saw that you like to take the people, normal people, not only Catherine Deneuve, but only people in the street. How much of this had influenced also your future filming?
C'est une question. Is it a question? Yes, well, I'm very fascinated by people. People in the street, people in my street, wherever I travel or wherever I work. I really have a feeling that it's interesting to approach people, but mostly the one on the side, the people that people don't speak about them. Well, as you know, I did a film about the cleaners. I made a film about the squatters. My first film, I was with fishermen. with JR, we went to the country, and I think that so many important people have light on them, and photo and film and advertising. So I like to have the feeling that other people, simple people, deserve to be looked at very carefully. And when we did the film with JR, we felt we should do a close-up of normal people on the wall, because we are just fed up with stars and mannequins and beautiful girls selling perfume and robe and stuff, selling cars. You know, we like people selling nothing, having big faces on the wall.
Agnès, une question qui rejoint peut-être un peu celle posée par ma consoeur plus haut.
Also has to do with what we just heard. I'm here. Is this film a way for you to organize your things and to prepare for the afterward and say goodbye somehow? Yes, of course, because this conference is, technically speaking, what I was going to say about the cinema, and I think some of you must have seen the film, so it's a kind of a super talk.
And it's a way of saying goodbye, because I don't want to speak about my film. I'm just fed up of speaking about my own film, my own work. Already I speak a lot in my own films. I'm self-documenting myself. In the last film, my last 5 films, I speak about me, spoke about my memory, and I did what I wanted to say. But as you know, I'm very much interested in other people. And I think in the little film that you saw, I show a lot of people in La Rue Mouffetard and in the country, and all the people I met have been so important to me. And so I should stop speaking about me, and as you say, well, I have to prepare myself to say goodbye and to go away. It's fine, you know, it's just slowing down to get the peace, necessary peace.
Thank you.
Yes. Hello, I'm Dimitra from Greece. Thank you very much for helping us revisiting your work, or people introducing people to your work, which is still relevant. Last year we had the chance in my country to see not only Faces, Places, but also Cleo from 5 to 7 was relaunched. My question, I have 2 questions. One is, today there are women, more women filmmakers as in the past. But how was in your time, first question, to be a woman filmmaker, which was a very small number, and did you face difficulties in this gender gap back in the 60s and 70s? And this brings us to the second question, which is politics. You come from a political background, and you show that. How did you change the way to introduce politics over the years?
So, to answer the first question, when I started, I was a photographer, and there were a few women directing. There was Jacqueline Audry, who was making films, and Yannick Bellon, and Nicole Vedres doing documentaries, very rarely in the field of filmmaking. But when I started, out of the blue, and some of you may know, La Pointe Courte is a radical film, totally radical, nothing to do with telling a story, and with, you know, we had Philippe Noiret, but it was his first film. It was not known at all at the time. And when I did the film, it was saying, I'm not interested as being a woman director. I'm interested in making a radical film. And I was glad to be a woman. I've been always proud, but my aim was to make a film different, and to open doors and to spread, to get out of the story, telling the story just psychological stories. So, then, about the second question, c'était pour le... Yes, you know, I was always on the left side in terms of politics, but I never was in any party. I was not communist, I was not anything, but I've been fighting for the reason that make that we believe in whatever is the left side of the politics. I never made really politics in my film, but the spirit is really oriented to take care of the people and not cope with bad ideas. I mean, it's too difficult to explain in one sentence. It's just, I remain on the side of the workers, on the side of the women. And as you know, I'm a joyful feminist, and it has not stopped in my life and in my spirit. But I do my best with what I can do in my films.
Thank you. There's a question over there. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Daniel from Germany, Frankfurter Rundschau. Ms. Varda, it is so encouraging how you turn sadness into creativity and don't seem to slow down in your creative work. Whenever there's something sad happening, you see something beautiful coming out of it even. So I wonder, since so many artists face depression in their careers and in their lives, if you have had a time in your life when you thought that you could not work anymore, or if you have something to say to artists who fear that they might lose their creativity.
Well, what saved me is that I remain curious. And if you are curious, you always have something to watch, to discover. But about being depressed, I remember the sentence of the communist Italian, Gramsci. He said, if you look at things as a situation, you have to be depressed. But if you try to do some action, you have to be positive. It's just, you have to choose where you go.
Thank you. I do have a question on my side, a general one. You say 2 times in your film, you speak about inspiration, creation, and sharing, inspiration, création, partage. And I am very curious to ask you, where does your never-ending inspiration comes from?
Never-ending what?
No. C'est un secret, un mystère, mais...
It's nice, you know, it's nice to think, not to be stupid, which isn't a fight, but it's interesting. I always fight against stupidity, my own stupidity. It's always interesting to have ideas, and the daydream, the imagination, is something that fulfills my life. So it's not special, you know. Every day I think I could do something, and especially now that I have a visual artist life. So many things can be done in space, in time. You have seen in the film some pieces I did, like the widows of Noirmoutier, the way I presented the widows, the way I presented heart-shaped potatoes, and also between observation and love for people, and interest. I never get tired, I must say. Not so far.
And this is beautiful. And we have the next question over there.
Thank you. You develop a quite constructive way of the digitalization of filming, and I would like to know if with time you also developed another perspective on it, maybe a rather critical one, to the consequences of this process?
It happens like it happens, you know. It is true that when I discovered the small little digital camera, even the first one, not so technical, I enjoy very much the fact that I could film, I could approach people in a different way. Not that I don't like to work with DP, but in some situations, especially the gleaners, the poor people, it's difficult to come with a crew, you know. Sometimes by being alone, being able to film, to speak, it's not bigger than film than photo camera, I succeeded to approach people that I don't think I would approach with the other technical ways. But it became, I get used to it. Sometimes I have the nostalgia of the 35 millimeter. But as you know, with the prints we had that we can no longer use, I recycled them. You've seen that. And I took the prints, the real prints, and I built shacks. So it's big houses made with the actual composite print for the wall, for the roof. So I feel like it becomes like a house of cinema, and I feel I can go inside. I feel I still live in the cinema 35, but it's just, it's a shack. It's a daydream shack.
Thank you.
But I'm not able to go to the very last technical things. I'm not able, what's happening now with the 3D, with the whatever can be done. It's too late for me to learn about that. In another life, maybe.
Thank you. Please.
Bonjour Agnès, bonjour Rosalie.
Good morning, Agnès and Rosalie. I'm from Cinema. I'm here. Agnès. Do we know each other? Yes, we do. From London.
As you know, I'm working with my wife. She's the director and I'm the producer. I would like to know, actually it's a question for both of you. I would like to know how it is to work between mother and daughter.
Comment c'est de travailler avec ta fille? It's fun. But she sometimes is a little tough with me. Like she say, I should go to bed early, which I don't like. She said I should be peaceful about food and eat carefully, and I should care about what doctors tell me to do. So, besides that, she's very sweet because we have shared so much things in our life. We have so much love traveling and museum, and we spend so much time with Jacques Demy. And then we together restored his film and my film, and it's very nice because I really remember she was a costume designer. I admired her, but now that she became a producer, I see, wow, she's okay. And I feel good. I feel good, it's funny. And you know, the company now belongs to Rosalie and my son Mathieu Demy. So they both run the show. And I'm the little bird, you know. If they accept that I do something, I do it. It's fine.
Rosalie, would you like to add something?
I would say it's very, first we have a very joyful company, a very joyful people working with us. And I feel like it's very funny is now I protect my mother and I try to help her to make anything she wants as an artist. Is it a film? Is it an exhibition? Is it a book? I feel like, you know, a very good pleasure to collaborate with her for her project, or for what she's doing now, as a visual artist, as a film director. And the relationship is funny because we are very, with love, we can, you know, argue a little bit, but at the end, we know, the both of us, that we work well. And I admire her as working every day with so much inspiration and so much strength, and with doubts about everything, about what she's doing, redoing, coming back and saying, I should shoot a little bit more. And I think, oh my God, with Cecilia, okay, shooting more is going to be this amount of money, how are we going to do it? And I say, of course, you can do it. Because what is important for an artist is to be with a producer, I think, that understands the project and accept that each project is special. We shot on 2 years. Agnès did a very long editing. And it's okay, because what is important at the end is the film. And I'm very proud to share this film with the audience, because I think education by the image is very important now in this chaotic period where we are and the world is so difficult. We need inspiration, we need focus on art. We hope it will help us a little bit.
Thank you.
You know, to be honest, my film never made money and never gave money to the producer. Only one film did well, Santonira, Vogelfrei. The only one who did some money, not that much. All the others have been very small distribution and no money coming. But
it's okay. We don't care. It's okay.
But it is true that my film has found response all over the world. And I'm very proud to, in the north of Brazil, to meet people who know my film, or in Korea or somewhere. There is always a bunch of people, maybe not that much, but there is always a bunch of people who know my films and help me to believe that it's worth it. So it's not a question of quantity of box office, which is not my speciality. But let's say that the reception of my films makes me feel good. So how many I don't know sometimes, but how I feel good to be understood, to be followed, and I have some groupies, and I have some friends, and I have some people following me from far from the world, and I feel good about that, because an artist needs to be supported and helped, not only with Rosalie, but the crew is with me. It's important for me that people working with me, even if sometimes it is tiring, believe that it's worth it to help me. So I feel, comment on dit reconnaissant?
How do you say grateful in English?
Reconnaissant.
Reconnaissant, grateful.
I feel grateful for everybody who helped me to make film and to survive a little more.
Great. Next question, Varda.
That's it.
Non, encore deux.
Il y a encore deux questions.
Ok.
Oui, Sophie Lobby de l'agence France Presse. Je suis ici.
I'm here.
Je voulais vous poser une question tout à
I'd
l'heure.
like
Vous
to
avez
ask
parlé
you a
du
question.
féminisme.
You talked about feminism and that you were a bit of a pioneer for women directors, and then this year you were in Cannes with the Marche des Femmes, the Women's March, and then we have this, the Berlinale with 7 women in the competition with films. Do you think that's a good, the right direction? What would you like to tell young female directors who have the feeling that you are their source of inspiration? What do they need? Those were 2 questions, and I'll give you 2 answers. First, very important that women slowly are not just directors, but they should also be chief operators, mixers, sound chiefs, editors. So women should slowly go into the cinema domain everywhere, and there are very many talented women. So that goes slowly. Now, this Women's March in Cannes, well, I'm a bit like this and like that, because you say, okay, women should go marching, they should be on all the committees, the selection committees, on all associations. We should have equal decision-making. But now, if you have famous women in Cannes, that's a bit too chic for me as cinema, because the question is at all levels, in the factories, in the offices, everywhere, not just in the show business. So that's what I have to say to that.
Oui, mais c'est vrai que, par exemple,
yes, it's true. For example, at the festivals, you have these women operating. That's changed things. So now they always have to have women, not just on the jury, but also in the selection committees. So maybe that has helped. But I'm always afraid of two spectacular actions. I think that it's a day-to-day work everywhere, at work, everywhere where decisions are being made at all levels. I'm not criticizing, but I'm half happy because there were beautiful women on beautiful staircases and beautiful clothes, but I think sometimes marching in the streets or having a meeting is more important. Okay, you know, I'm in a good mood.
Hello. Hi, Agnès. Thank you very much for your beautiful film. I'm Louis from Financial Times. My question is, actually, you both work for museum and cinema, present your work in the different contexts. And I'm wondering, because the two different kind of audiences receive information from art in a different way, I'm wondering how do you take care of them and how do you use the different space to present your work? Thank you.
Yeah, it's totally different, as you know. Already, when you go in a theater, you have only one screen, and together you see the same thing. In installation or other kind of artistic work, people come one after another. You never have a real crowd. You have few people coming and then more and more. So you don't deal with an audience who sees the same thing. Everybody feels differently, approaches the work differently. It's an experience very important because then you have to feel more about how people could feel this, how could they understand this. We always have to think about the audience, but the audience in theaters is totally different. So I deal with that the way it comes, and I think always what people will feel. Maybe I could suggest, maybe I make up that they could feel this and that, sometimes change the editing, change the approach, change the color. You know, we have to, I would say, like walk on eggs, you know. We have to be very light to trying to get the understanding or get the feeling, a kind of not admiration, but the connection with the audience, with the people watching. So I am experimenting my work since I started to know. I don't know, I try.
And we have a young lady here, was the last.
My name is Nilgün. I'm from Turkey, Istanbul, but I live here in Berlin. Actually, my question was kind of raised before about what do you have to say to young female directors, because in Istanbul years ago we organized a feminist film festival with your films, which will happen also again this year. And that was the time first I have seen the first movie from you was Vagabond, and then I realized that feminist film is not only about the topic of the film, but is about the way of the storytelling and the stories from the female gaze and the method of showing those stories matter a lot. And I just wanted to ask, what do you have to say for the young woman? But this was already asked, but I can only say that we are one of those bunch of people in somewhere in the world following your films, and we are also very grateful to you that you made us to believe in that we can also make films. Thank you.
You know, I never was a teacher, and even I refuse when they said about my film that it's a master class. I hate the idea that I could be a master, and I hate the idea that I do a class or teach something. So when I did that lecture, I'm trying to speak about the structure I chose, the style I chose, the means, what I try to use to express things. But I cannot give advice because just, yes, I said something. Be curious, have a point of view, if you can, when you film something, because, you know, everybody can film, including with the telephone. Choose a narrow point of view to see what comes out of it. But I would say be curious and modest when you work. But there is nothing I can teach because I'm not sure something can be taught from my work. But that's why I try to say in this documentary, not what the story was about, what the psychology I thought, how I directed the actors. I try to say how I built each film as should be structured and choose how I wanted to tell, with what things. You spoke about Vagabond. It was very precise because the film should be walking like she walks, and that's why I made all these traveling shots. And each time I try to work on what could be technically or structurally interesting, that it would tell what I feel about the subject. But I cannot give advice about that. Everybody has to find its own ideas and structure. Everybody has to choose for himself or for herself. So I don't give advice, but be courageous, be curious, be patient, what can I say? And be joyful about it's beautiful to be a filmmaker.
I think this is a wonderful way to end this talk.
Thank you to you.
This afternoon you have the Berlinale camera, and we are very happy and grateful to have you here. And thank you. Thank you for making our lives more colorful, beautiful and poetic. Thank you, Agnès Varda. Thank you, Rosalie Varda. Thank you.